Hi guys, this is Stefan, poker coach and founder of BecomAnOnlinePokerPro.com. I'm back here with episode 8 of the Bankroll building experiment. And this is the experiment, this is the YouTube series where I abandon the games I usually play at No Limit 100 and No Limit 200 to show you exactly what it takes to build a bankroll from scratch in 2013. And so we're going to continue on playing No Limit 25, but before we do that, I just wanted to show you the results so far since the last video. I've been playing quite a lot, 14,000 hands as you can see, and I've been playing pretty well. I've not been running well. As you can see, the green line here is the profit line, so we're up like $32, and the yellow line is the all-in EV line, which is the amount I should be up if the pot was divided by equity when we got all in. So let's say I have aces, I get all in against kings. At the point we get all in where I have 80%, this line goes up by 80% of the pot. So let's say it's a $20 pot. This line goes up $16, no matter what the end results of that hand is. So let's say I win it, the green line goes up $20, the yellow line only goes up 16. Let's say I lose it, the red line goes down 20 and the yellow line still goes up 16. So basically it's just a way to graph that we've been unlucky in all in situations, but overall we can see that we have a nice winning curve. We have ups and downs, but overall it's rising, so that's good. So yeah, I just want to show you that before we hop into the games. But I have a few games loaded up already, so I figured we'd just get started. Yeah, I just have to get the stats rolling. Get hands while playing, yes please. And the bankroll right now is sitting at 572. We've managed to clear another $20 off the bonus, so that's always good. Now if you want to follow this this progress, definitely check out Become an Online Poker Pro. I update the experiment there with graphs and other good stuff. I'm just gonna table 4. We already talked about this in previous videos. We have a gut shot, it's a limp pot. I'm just gonna take a stab at this. I think I'll get a fold often enough to make this a profitable play. Now when he does call and the 10 comes, I don't really like this card to be bluffing too much. I think he's going to be having a lot of 7s, a lot of 8s, a lot of 6s that aren't folding. So I'm just going to give up on that pot. On table 2, raise up the ace 9. This flop really not that great for c-betting. There's so many draws on this board that he can have, and we don't have any equity when called really. So I like just giving up better here. Now when we hit the 9 on the river and he checks back both the flop and the turn, I don't think he ever has a flush. I don't think he ever has a straight. I don't think he ever has a queen or a 10. So basically we have the best hand a lot here. And since he checked both the flop and the turn, I wouldn't really expect him to be bluffing the river. So betting out there is best, I think, to just try and get some money out of like 2 8s or a 7 or maybe an ace high if he's feeling curious. The ace 7 here to the min re-raise we can call, just because he's making it so incredibly small. So we can just call and try to hit a monster hand like trips or 2 pair. Just because he's making it so small, he's giving us such great odds. Now just going to fold it. Gutshot is not enough there. I expect him to have a pretty strong range for 3-betting in that situation. So the only reason we're calling pre-flop is because we're getting such great odds that we can just call only just to hit a hand. So it's not a big deal to fold in that situation. I've definitely noticed a larger jump between no limit 10 and no limit 25 than between no limit 4 and no limit 10. There seems to be a few more regulars in these games. It's not like people are playing great at all, not even close. But the fish to regular ratio is definitely slightly lower than at no limit 10. And there's not as many open tables. There's more people sitting on wait lists for the fishy tables. So that's not as great, obviously, as a lot of open tables with fish everywhere. So what I usually do is just, instead, I don't really want to sit on the waiting lists, because often if you find a huge fish and you get on the waiting list, there'll often be a guy ahead of you on the waiting list, and the only time you really get to the table is when the fish is already buzzed, or you got very lucky. So I'd rather just start new tables and play heads up. I used to play heads up only for like half a year, maybe a year. So I definitely feel comfortable playing heads up. So I'd rather do that to start tables. And often when fish are coming in and they want to play, and all the tables are full, they'll just sit at the newly started table as well. So it's also a great way to get fishy tables. So that's what I usually do. King Jack suited on table 2, definitely a raise. Looks like this Michi in the big blind looks kinda fishy, but we don't really know yet. Flop top pair, definitely going to see bet here. And we take it down. Queen 3 is a fold. I've been thinking about playing the fast forward games, actually. In case you don't know, it's poker games where you are like 100 people in a player pool, and whenever you fold your hand, you get instantly removed from the table and added to a new one in a new position, and you get dealt a hand instantly. So there's no waiting around. Once you fold, a new hand starts instantly. So I've been thinking about doing that instead of starting tables, because usually when I'm not making videos for you guys, I'm playing up to 9 tables. So starting 9 new tables is a bit much sometimes. So I've been thinking about trying out the fast forward games. I might actually do that in the next video, just to see how they play, to see how it feels. That might be fun. On table 4 we've got aces, and what looks like a fishy players racing under the gun, and we got 2 callers behind the race. This is a great situation. Just gonna re-raise here to about 4x his raise. There's no reason to make it really big. 4x will easily allow us to get all in by the river, which is in the end what we want. Now 3 callers is a bit much. Like aces usually play better in heads-up situations. On a board like this is the really kind of a nasty board. A lot of hands hit this flop hard, but because we're playing against two fish, I'm going to c-bet here, and I expect the fish to be calling with all kinds of hands, like all kinds of middle pairs. Every 10, I basically expect them to have so many weaker hands than ours, whereas against a regular, I'd expect this board to be really terrible for our hand, because I expect him to 4-bet kings pre-flop and call with a bunch of hands that hit this flop really hard. But once the fish only calls here on the turn, I think his hand range is more likely to be towards like one pairs plus flush draws. If he had a really strong hand, I would expect him to raise me on the flop to try and protect from the straight draws and the flush draws. So I feel pretty good about my hand right now, but I definitely want to get it all in on the river, so that if he has a drawing hand, we get it all in before he sees if he hits or not. So let's say I check behind here on the turn, and he's on a flush draw, and the flush draw bricks. He might just check fold, which would be bad. Or let's see he has a jack, and the river completes the flush card. Then he's probably check folding as well. So getting all in on the turn is pretty mandatory in that spot. Yeah, and we win a decent sized pot. It's always nice. I hope the sound is okay in this video. Actually, I didn't really check for that earlier. I guess I just have to make a new video if it's bad. No big deal. Two 9 at table 2, that's an easy fold. Ace 2 on table 1 is a fold. Yeah, how are you guys doing with your own bankroll building challenges? I'd like to hear how you're coming along, which games you're currently playing, if you're on an upswing or downswing, how you're feeling about your games. Yeah, just let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear from you guys. I hope you're doing well. Also, if you want maybe a video with more tables or a longer video, definitely just let me know, and I'll try to do that. In the end, I'm doing these videos to help you guys, so I'm very interested in your input. 8-4 on table 2 is just a fold. Now the Jack Queen is a fold. Ace King now. I've been going back and forth with this hand, because definitely on my usual stakes at no limit 100 and no limit 200, it's a snap re-raise. And the reason it's a snap re-raise is because people are re-raising as a bluff more often, so people are 4-betting as bluffs more often, and Ace King plays great against a 4-bet bluff, because you can shove over it and win a decent sized pot, and whenever you get all in, you're never really in that bad of a situation unless you're up against aces or kings. But it really seems like people are folding a lot. To three bets. Sorry, tongue twister. So I like calling it pre-flop more. This is a pretty ugly spot. Like, best case scenario here, I think we're chopping. I never expect him to have a worse king than ours. There's not really any bluffs he can have in this situation. You know what, I'm just gonna fold it. I think we're behind too often to call there. I don't really expect him to bet ace queen again there on the river. I don't expect him to be raising king 10, and if he did, I don't expect him to be betting it 3 times. I don't expect him to be bluffing a small pair 3 times on a board texture like that. So really, in best case, we're chopping. And since we already have one combination of ace king, it's less likely that he has ace king. So yeah, definitely folding there, I think, is the best play. It's close though. It's pretty close. On table 2, this guy is a fishy player. Donk the flop, goes all in on the turn. We have top 2 pair, easy call. And yeah, and I don't know what he was doing. He flipped out, I guess, which is good for us. Table 2, raised the jack 10 suited under the gun. You can get away with this on most boards or on most tables. It plays well. You can apply a lot of pressure, and since you're opening under the gun, people assume you have a strong pre-flop opening range. I'm gonna 3-bet the hand, the 8-9. As I said previously, people are folding a lot to 3-bets, which is why I prefer calling with the ace king against early position openers. I would only call there against early position openers, so against under the gun or middle position. If it was against the cutoff or button opener, I would never ever consider just calling there, because people's ranges widen as you get in a later position, and as people's ranges widen, they have to defend more against 3-bets. So let's say they're only opening 10% of hands from under the gun, they're going to have very strong hands way more often than if they're opening 20% from the cutoff. So ace king plays better when you're re-raising it against the 20% range, because you're going to get a lot more folds, and if you're not going to get a ton of folds, your opponents are going to be playing back at you with very weak hands, which is also profitable for you. So overall, a win-win situation. Looks like we've got very fishy tables, which is always nice. This fisherman guy on table 4 is playing 64-18, which is very bad. I feel like opening this hand, but because he's such a large fish, well, I guess I can open it anyways because he's folding so much to flop c-bets. You always want to be playing a lot of pots against the fish. I once heard a video instructor say that you should think about the fish as if they're having like a clock ticking above their head for when they're going to leave, because basically everyone is waiting to take the fish's money, and he's only going to be at the table for a certain amount of time. So the more situations you're able to put yourself in with the fish, the larger is it that the larger chance there is for you to be the one to take the fish's money. So yeah, opening whenever you can. Like that 6-5, that's obviously a very marginal hand, but I think just the chance of getting to play a huge pot against a large fish is going to make it worth it. And with the king queen here, we flop top pair against the fish. There's straight draws out there, there's flush draws out there. Just betting all the way is going to be the best option there. sixes against the squeeze on table 2. He's not really 3-betting so tightly that we can call to try and hit a set. We need to have, he needs to have like 15 the amount we need to call. So since we need to call 2, he would need to have like 30 behind. He has 30 behind, but we don't. So we can't really call just to hit a set. And since he's 3-betting around like 10%. So when he's 3-betting 10%, he does have some bluffs. And so whenever your opponent has some bluffs in his 3-betting range, the value of just calling to try and flop a set is going to go down, because some of the times where you do hit a set, he's just going to bet once and then give up, or check fold the flop. So you're going to need even greater odds to call to hit a set. And most of the time you actually have to play post flop. You have to try and steal some hands. You can't just auto fold the flop when you miss, and because he's bluffing more often. So in that situation you'd rather have a high card hand, or at least a pair better than sixes, just because every flop is going to be all high cards pretty much. Sorry. So I hope that makes sense. I feel like 3-betting the arm now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to fold. This Fritzy Blue, we don't know anything about him, but I'm going to open this one up. Try to isolate him and play heads up pot with a small suited connector. I hadn't really seen this June guy in the big blind against small stacks. Whenever you have small stacks at the table, you should be less likely to make these very light isolation raises, just because it's so easy for him to 3-bet like he did in this spot. And if we're opening as wide as 7-5, we're going to be folding too much. So yeah, I hadn't seen the June guy. I should have folded that hand. It's too loose with a small stacker in the blinds, which is one of the reasons it sucks to have short stackers on your tables, because they remove profitable isolation raises like that. Because of them, you have to play an overall tighter style, which is less profitable for you and more boring for the fish. But if you don't do it, the short stacker is going to make too much money off of you. So yeah, overall, having these professional short stackers in the game, or professional, these guys who are playing this short stack strategy with re-raising a lot and stealing a bunch of blinds and then folding all the rest, the correct way to adjust to these guys is just to play tighter overall, which is no fun and less profitable whenever you have huge fish at your table. So yeah, they're no good. Looks like we've been going on for 22-23 minutes already, so I think I'm going to end it after the Queen Jack hand on table 4. Going to raise it up over the large fish. I believe that's the guy who donk bet the flop with the backdoor flush draw and then shoved the turn when it actually became a legitimate flush draw. So yeah, hitting top pair against him is a good spot, but he just folded. I guess I'll play the ace queen hand as well. Now this is kinda like, I can't really re-raise him because, well, I guess I can, but I would have to get it all in against him if I do that. Calling is kinda sucks as well, I guess, because he's making it so small. We can call and check fold more often because we're getting better pot odds pre-flop to call. And whenever you do flop top pair, that's always nice. Just looking quickly at his stats, he has a c-bet percentage of 100%, and a turn c-bet percentage of 100%. So it looks like he's the type of guy who likes to bluff the turn, or likes to bet the turn after having bet the flop. So I'm going to try and use that knowledge to my advantage and just call with the queens here. Now I don't know anything about his river betting frequency. But I'm just gonna raise it up here. I think if he has worse queen, he'll always end up all in, and against his draws, I have no idea if he's bluffing them on the river. So I think just getting the money in there instead of putting him in a situation where he can, where I don't know if I should check call when draws it. I don't know, it's close, it could go either way, especially against an aggressive villain. I don't ever think a raise on the turn there is all bad. But I could definitely be convinced that a call on the turn is better. But that's it for this time, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like it, and please subscribe so that you don't miss any updates on the bankroll building experiment. And remember to check out the blog becomeonlinepokerpro.com for more updates. Yeah, that's it, guys. As always, have a good day. Bye.